Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's get rolling here. I'm gonna share my screen. Screen 2. All right. Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Somebody give me a sound check in chat. Ask Boris. Let me know if you hear me okay. Screen is good. Give me all that stuff. Let me know that it's working for you. Okay. Good morning, Karen. Hey, we missed you yesterday, Karen. Okay. How's everybody? Calvin. All right, so I had a pretty good night actually overnight. I want to take a few minutes before the markets are kind of quiet, so we have a chance to breathe a little bit. I want to take a few minutes to review some thoughts that I had about all of the various ways of trading that we do. Basically, the three primary ways of trading that we do here. So let's go to the NASDAQ chart and just kind of organize ourselves in the obvious way. The first way that we trade that I really, really like is what I call the Asia, the session impulse buy, or the session impulse signal. And that's essentially the first trend signal in various session times. It works, in my opinion, best in Asia. It tends to give really, really good signals in Asia most of the time. So in this case, the buy signal here, obviously good for 10 points on the open. I tend to skip the European session because it's been very, very choppy lately. And we did establish some kind of a trend here in Europe today. But generally, I like to sort of trade the opening of the U.S. session. Now, the problem, what I call the pre-opening of the U.S. session. The problem with the pre-opening U.S. session is I kind of made this arbitrary start time of 7, and honestly, the more I think about it, it has to be sort of between 6 and 7. Everybody on the institutional side of the U.S. markets gets to the desks around 7 o'clock in the morning, maybe even 6:30 in the morning. And so very often that first impulse move on the U.S. institutional side is around this time. If you'd come in at 7, it's a little bit late. I mean, this actually would have worked, but it's not quite 7. It's closer to 6:53. The point is that when you're sort of setting these arbitrary times, sometimes you're just going to either miss the signal, or sometimes the signal will actually be late, because if you took this signal, that was a failure. If you took this signal, that signal worked for the trade. It's not a super precise trading strategy. The one signal that I really do like, in addition to that, sort of the pre-New York signal, and then we have obviously the New York Open signal, which is the first signal after the New York Stock Exchange opens for trade. That impulse signal generally, not always, but generally tends to be very, very good. The whole idea here is if you sort of want to just limit your trading to 3 to 4 times a day, those are probably the best ones, with the goal of being that you try to win 3 out of 4 times. Like we ran the impulse signals yesterday, and last week it was like a 9 wins, 1 loss. It was a really, really high win ratio. But generally, if you're limited in your approaches, that's what you want to do. You want to do those kind of structures. Now, the other trade idea that I really, really like is the run of highs, run of lows. And the beautiful thing about this indicator, of course, is that we have a dynamic updating of session highs, session lows. So the first order of business is you want to give yourself at least an hour to populate the range. You don't want to be taking any highs or lows until 1900 hours Asia. But once you do, you actually have the right strategy. And the strategy here is got to be very, very specific. You have to put a pending order, maybe 1 tick or half a, one half a tick above the session high. In this case, this is 88. Let's say you stop entry yourself at 89. And you have to give yourself 20-10 because you're always going to get retraces on these moves. But here, if you come in at 89, this high, boom, goes more than 10 points, just completely breaks out. Now, what's interesting here is that this high is then set here at 03 for quite a long time, and nothing really breaks that 03 high until we get to over here. And so you would put, you would put your entry in at 04. I actually did this on for my own account today on the CFD side. It was 14 to the CFDs, but 4 on futures. And it had a lot of retrace. You gave back about 5-10 minutes. It was just going 6-7 points against you, but then eventually, boom, straight up, second break of the highs. That, as I said to you, fresh highs tend to beget fresh highs, fresh lows tend to beget fresh lows. Those are really, really good approaches for us to take. And certainly, if we have session highs, session lows in the New York session, we'll definitely do them. One of the frustrating aspects of us trading the 9 to 10 hour versus sometimes the 10 to 11 hour, and it all depends on just how much trading I really want to do. But if we really, really wanted to optimize our opportunities, we probably would be trading 9 to 11, because I think it's really those 2 hours that are the most fertile, because sometimes 9 to 10 hour doesn't give you the full penetration. But like yesterday, we talked about the 15,000 level. Sorry, it was 1515 as the low. And I said, if they take out the lows, they're going to go at 15,000. And sure enough, 10 minutes after we closed down the webinar yesterday, boom, 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 went straight down, took out the lows. It was a super easy trade to run the lows. So the whole point is the New York Stock Exchange opening range trade that has the highest probability. Like right now, NASDAQ 15,065, NASDAQ 15,020, all those levels, which are just tiny bit above the range highs, range lows, they're going to run through those. It's very likely there'll be continuation for 10 points, at least on that movement. So that's, the high-low strategy that I like to do. And then the strategy that I really like to do, and this works, in my opinion, a little bit better to the downside on trading the lows and trading the highs, but it works well on both sides, is the very, very simple, but a very effective strategy of fading session highs, session lows. So, oh, hang on, I know my dog was barking like crazy. Let me just see what's going on. I'll be right back. Okay. So that particular strategy is very interesting because it's sort of very regimented and does require a little bit of art rather than science. You don't want to take the first, typically in a trend, when you have a strong trend, you're going to break a few fresh highs. So this was a fresh high break, right? And the basic rule of this is you want to trade the first opposite candle of a fresh high or a fresh low. So you want to trade the first red candle of a fresh high, the first green candle of a fresh low. But you don't really want to do the first one. You probably want to do the second and maybe ideally the third. So the reason why you don't want to do that is because you tend to get a few more impulse moves higher or lower before the price wave finally crests. So in this particular case, this was the highs. It breaks the highs over here. This is the first red candle. You probably you want to pass that up. You get a fresh high over here. Next red candle. That's a pretty good second reversal candle in a high. Second reversal candle on the low is probably the right one to take. If you want to be super, super cautious, you could wait for the third one. Now, what's interesting about this particular setup that I actually love is sometimes the reversal candle is the high candle. That's actually, to me, if you get that structure where the candle makes fresh highs in the session and then ends red, or makes fresh lows in a session, ends green, that's a super, super high probability candle. And obviously, you want to be short this, long that when that happens. The reason why the long side on equities obviously is a little bit more problematic is because the market makes a lot more fresh highs than it does. It has a natural bias to the upside. So the whole point is that when you're making fresh lows, the bounce back off of those almost always ends up for a move higher, unless you have a super negative day, which happens once every 100 days these days. But regardless, the scalp, the reversal scalp, why that works so well is because on a very micro level, what's happening here is people are being forced out of the shorts, are being forced out of their positions. And it's that forced liquidation that provides you excellent entry opportunities for profit taking, because once people are kind of forced out, there's nothing else to hold up the thing, and the profit taking comes in, and you're able to to profit to the downside, or the other way, once people are forced out from the short side, short covering comes in, and you have a chance to take it to the upside. So those are like the three key ways that we can scalp every single day to pick up points. You can mix and match. You can choose one. You can choose two. I prefer, sort of my go-to strategy these days is to basically trade the highs, trade the lows, and then really trade the scalp reversals as long as I can time them, because those tend to be really excellent entries. It's the most meaningful place on the chart where you have the highest probability of profit, because it's at that place where all of the accounting, all of the margining, all of the positioning begins to take place, because by the very definition, it's the extreme of the day. So does that make sense to everybody? Does anybody have any questions on that? The next order of business that I kind of want to talk about is I changed a lot of stuff in the Dropbox for BK tools. The BK tool, I took away a lot of the sort of experimental tools. There's only two things in the Dropbox right now. There's the scripts, which are all the basic easy to trade scripts, which I made a whole video on that, and tools, which are the risk wrapper, risk manager, and auto swing. These are tools that we've had. I just sort of renamed them, and you guys can play with them. All the other stuff that I had in here, I'm only going to make available to those traders who have lifetime memberships. And those of you who have lifetime, just message me, and I'll give you the private Dropbox code for all the other stuff that you guys have been using, because that was all sort of a matter of grace and experimental. If you guys are interested in becoming a lifetime member to get access to all those tools, certainly contact me. I'll be happy to do that. But everybody else who's lifetime, you guys know who you are. If you want, some of the updates on some of the algos that you've been trading on the side, I'm happy to give that to you. So having said this, though, I did rename these tools, and I just wanted to kind of show you. The risk wrapper is basically the scalper that I use. Is the scalp single entry scalp mechanism that I use. The trade manager, the BK trade manager, it's an interesting tool because let me see if I can find it here. Oh, so let me do it. Let me lay it down here. The reason why this tool is kind of useful for us, especially if you want to do high, session highs, session lows, is this particular tool. It's a two entry tool, so it's a 2-unit entry, right? It has a 2-unit entry, but it can go into pending mode, so we can actually preset our entries well ahead of time, and it will automatically execute at highs and lows. It will buy at highs, sell at lows on the trade. So we can adopt this tool, which is free to everybody who's in BK, to kind of trade our high lows in a semi-automated fashion. So and then you have a short target and a long target, which is also kind of good. I traded this in NASDAQ with a +5, +10, and it worked both ways really well in NAS. So we'll see. I may put this into practice later in the session today, depending on how we trade. Right now, it's very tight trade. For us, On the Dow, we got to go to 85s or 460s, and NAS is still, we're just basically mid-range right now, doing nothing as we get ready for the opening of trade. So so that's what's going on, guys. I'm trying to see if there's anything interesting going on in markets, but it's really, really very quiet. Anybody have any side questions for me or any additional questions? This is a good time to ask me anything you like. Anybody who's a newbie, type in all your questions in chat. Ask Boris. Don't type it into the Zoom chat box because I never look at it. I'm happy to answer. We have nothing much going on over here. We can scalp. We can just scalp for fun if you want, because it's kind of boring. So we can buy a little bit of, really a little bit of Dow here on a higher double bottom, and just see if we could, we could make 10 points on the Dow. But this is all nonsense. I'm using myself because we got nothing else going on here. But we have a low, higher double low, green candle confirming that it's working. So we have a chance here to maybe make 10 points. We'll have to see. Maybe 5 points. Oh yeah, let's take 5. Oh, I took 5. Let's take 5. I was going to take 5 anyways. So okay, quick 5 for just nonsense. I'll leave it alone. But we don't have any legitimate setups. I was just saw the quick pattern here for a scalp, and if you want to do that, if you wanted to do that, that was a quick 5 here. I really actually often really like that higher double bottom, because it tends to be a pretty good reversal pattern for us. But markets are super quiet. We're just definitely just hanging. So I wanted to show you. Let me see. Actually, let me see if I can show this to you. Let's go to Dow. And Dow is not my favorite. By the way, I really, really don't like trading Dow, except the U.S. session, because liquidity. I didn't realize liquidity was so horrible. It's like 4 wide on the CFDs. It's basically 2 wide on futures, but on futures, at least you could split bid ask if you really wanted to. But on CFDs, it's like 4 wide, because look at these candles. Like NASDAQ is liquid, but this is garbage. So I'm not a lover of trading the Dow, but if you're going to trade the Dow, at least trade the high-low reversals. So let me just kind of show you what I mean. So we have, I think this is pretty much the low, right? So this is pretty much the low. It's around 700, like 34,700, right? That's pretty much the low, right? We break, this is what I mean about buying the second low. So this is the so we break the low here. This is the first break of the low. We get the first green candle. We pass up on that. This is the second low. So this is, remember, the cool thing about the strategy is that you don't even begin to think about buying until the red candles are done. So this makes the fresh second low. This candle comes in over here. Now this is still a little early, right? But and with the Dow, you absolutely have to give. You kind of have to trade 20-40. If you trade with anything less, you just don't. You're going to get too much retrace, because you buy 88, it goes up like 5 points in your favor, and that's it. So you need to give yourself like at least 30, but ideally 40 points against you. So 48 would be your stop. It goes down all the way down to like 63, right? A little bit more than 20 points against you, and then does a slow, steady reversal. The other way that you want to kind of do it, if you wanted to give yourself a little more breathing space, is the 2 ways. you can just do small size minus 20, get stopped out. If it doesn't work, you get stopped out. If it does, if it does work, you make money. If it doesn't work, you get stopped out. And then you double the size, double the parameters, and then you go 20, 40 from here. You give yourself more room. So basically, the idea is the more it falls, the more breathing room you give yourself, both in size and scope. Now that's kind of it's a kind of a variant of martingale. So you're increasing risk on each one of these things, but the probability of a turn really does become stronger with every one of these things. It's not, it's not a strategy for the faint of heart, but if you like to fade, it's not a bad strategy, because one, if you're right, you make money. If you're wrong, you will recover this on the second one. I mean, if it goes, I would say that I would give myself one more opportunity. If the third opportunity doesn't work, you just stop, because clearly there is a trend in place that's super unique. Generally, when it stops selling at fresh highs, fresh lows, the reversal pattern is at least good for 20 points. So I'm talking about the Dow here, and the NASDAQ I would use 1020 as my parameter. But it totally worked on on the reversal side. The other way is to not double your size, but just to double your volatility. So you start with a 1020 to see if you can pick a quick turn, and then if you get stopped out, then you go to 2040. For the wider turn at same size. Most of the time, your first impulse will be profitable, but you want to give yourself maybe 2, maximum 3 impulses to pick those tops and bottoms. There's a speaker at 10 a.m. New York, but it's low risk according to FX News. Why are speakers not rated red? Because it depends how much power they have. Even Powell, the speaker is only valuable if he says something unexpected, right? If he's just going to repeat the same pablum that everybody knows, because speakers are only valuable if they generate news, and they rarely do, because they know that they don't want to be rocking the boat. So very rarely. Usually, most of the time, the speaker is valuable because they misspeak. They're meant to say something and they say it in a way that's misinterpreted, and the markets go crazy. So and speakers for the equity market, they tend to have more of an impact on the forex market than in the equity market. And the thing is, frankly, Ken, in the age of QE, none of this stuff matters. Like, I literally, if you notice, fundamentals literally don't matter. In the age of free money, markets move only on one thing: more free money. Like, honestly, the more I look at all the markets, it's just amusing. It's just amusing to read the news. That's what it's become. It's become, bouche amusée, like a little appetizer before the meal. It means nothing. Just refreshes your curiosity, because in an age of QE, literally everything is driven by one thing only, which is liquidity. When I get a free moment again, could you please go back to scalping technique that you were talking about, the opposite candle after a new high? Yeah, I'm hoping we can get some live examples, because we have lots of those during the day. But let's imagine this is fresh high, right? So what we're looking for is a sequence where we have a whole bunch of green candles setting fresh highs, and then you have a red candle right over here that reverses that flow. That's your first signal you want to be short. That's your first signal you want to be short. After a series of new highs or a series of new lows, the first reversal candle is your first signal that there's a pause in the price action, and likely at least some, and sometimes some significant reversal of price. Okay? Does that make sense, David? It's like, I feel like I'm ready to blow my brains out at how slow it is. Very, very quiet. Just looking around to see if anything going on here. I mean, this is futures, right? This is the most liquid instrument in the world. And look at these candles. They're just gappy as hell. It means there's just literally nobody making markets in between the 1 minute candles, which is kind of pathetic. NAS is still relatively fluid, but look how choppy the Dow is. So, oh, Kara says she doesn't start trading till 9:30. It's probably a good idea. I mean, I generally, anything I do before 9:30 is all just, for shits and giggles, just for game show. Well, the one thing that I definitely really like about sort of developing the scalping methodology, I really, really like the idea of focusing on reversal scalps only at highs and lows. That creates two things. It gives you a very, very specific disciplined approach. It doesn't make, so you don't lurch at every single relative low, relative high that's on the chart, because sometimes those work, sometimes those don't work, but they don't have any consistent, they don't have a consistent methodology behind it. And also it spaces out your trading, so you're not over trading too much. I mean, generally during a 24-hour cycle, you don't want to do more than 10 trades in total, right? A couple of session trades, a couple of high lows, couple of reversals, 3 or 4. Between 10 and 12 trades is maximum. If you're doing any more than that, you're clearly over trading. It's just a really good metric to have, So 4 minutes to go. Let's see. Remember, our favorite game is where they rip the NASDAQ up in the first 2 minutes and then just flush it down and then eventually establish a trend. It's our favorite little game they like to play. Same with Dow. I want to, I will hang with you guys today I really want to see how we trade around the highs and the lows. I'm actually gonna, so in order to prepare myself, hang tight. Let's do this. We got what 2-3 minutes. Let's get big on this thing. Let's do another. Let's do 2 charts. So we'll do one NDX and one Dow chart using two. So this is going to be the pure scalp one. This will be the pending. And so we want to go to Trade Manager, right? And now we have to go. Now I just got to figure out what my so the highs on this is 86 on the futures. It's 50 right now on this. What is the spot? 854. Wait, sorry. What's the offset on the spot? I hate the Dow is so annoying. Where's this thing? 750, 854. So 100 points, right? So 787. So 890. 890 would be my offset on the just basically if the Dow goes to 890, right? So let's do this. We're going to do pending. We'll set it to like 890. So if it breaks 890, and we'll give ourselves like 60 minutes, 60 candles on this. And we'll do Dow, so we'll do at least a 30 stop, 10, 20. Okay. So that's Oh, sorry. I did it the wrong thing. I need to go into pending mode. Pending mode. 890. 890. 60 candles. Okay. All right. So the idea is if it takes out the highs, it's actually. Oh, this is a 5-minute chart, so that's why it's. Okay, I'll leave it here as an 890, and we'll see. We'll see if that executes to the upside, because they obviously want to ramp the Dow a little bit. And what this tool is going to do is it's going to buy the highs, have a short exit. If that exit is hit, go to break even and have a longer exit. And we'll see how that plays. Oh, there we go. Now we're in trade, and then it just went super fast and super. Oh, because it's 9:30. That's going to stop me out probably. It just tagged me. Let's see. It's moving really fast. There's a super fast tag of highs. Did not go all the way through the highs. I was. Let's see if this gives me a chance to trade to the highs. Nah. All right, I'm gonna be patient with this, but I'm fighting spreads and I'm fighting the opening volatility. But generally, the idea here is I'm hoping it goes plus 10 on the first short move, but it's not going to do it for me. We'll see. I'm watching the NAS fall. Wow, usual thing. 6, 7, 8, 9. Come on, give it to me 10. There we go. So the first one is out. Now I'm at break even. So I'm plus 10 on my Dow, and I'm going to see if I can get plus 20 on this thing. 18, 19, 19, 17, 19, 20. Okay, plus 30 on the move. So taking out the highs actually did work with the 1-2 tool nicely. That was a opening day range. So fine, good for us. Now we can watch this carefully. Look for a red candle. Perhaps look for a second push and play around with that. As far as NAS goes, we got no. I'm just trying to position this. So 68 would be on the NAS side. Would be, let's do this. Sell. That's what is this? It's be 78. 78 to the downside. 1578. Ooh. Coming up. Okay, so I set this up for a 78 break, which is a 68 break. Let's see if it tests the lows, and try to do the same thing to the downside. If the Nasdaq wants to break the lows in the first opening act here. So far, no. And that should really be 25 and 10 on the short exit, long exit. So let's see if we can do that. So this made, fresh highs, red candle, right? This is the reason why I don't like to short the first move. I want to see if I can get like a second push and maybe a second failure. So, 2, 3 green candles with a red candle after that. That would be a decent sell entry for me. I have an impulse sell here in NAS, which I definitely want to consider. So I'm waiting for this. Remember I said the session impulse in NAS is usually a good one. I kind of want to try this. We're going to give this a shot. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom, I'm gonna sell that. So, and maybe, maybe it's not gonna work for me, but we'll give it a shot. So it's a 20 stop. Where's my entry? It's a 20 stop, 10 target. Let's see if this comes back into to my play. I mean, a lot of times it will overrun this move. If it's making a true V-shaped recovery, we're gonna get stuffed on this Nasdaq move. But if this impulse move proves to be true, then fine. I mean, this is a very, very choppy market. We kind of ran to the lows and really short covered hard. So now it's a question of whether it looks like the bulls are gonna just push this around. So I'm, if I get tagged out in this thing, that's fine. Now I got to watch the Dow, and now I'm watching the Dow. See, the Dow is making fresh highs. So now I'm kind of interested. So now I'm kind of interested in so Dow is pushing towards fresh highs, fresh highs, fresh highs. Now I'm kind of interested to see where we're going to get the failure in the Dow. Where am I going to get a red candle? Because that's where I want to focus back on my Dow trades now. Let me get this grapper going. Wow, NAS is totally reversed. Okay, so now this is just going to be me watching this for a red candle completion. So what is that? That's I think I'm going to have to actually, if this thing breaks highs on the Nasdaq, I'm just going to have to go manually because I don't have the I don't have this preset. And that's really did its usual fake out move here. The impulse move at 9 o'clock really did not work today. And that happens sometimes a lot. Like the first move. Okay, so I'm watching the Dow here. I got two things I got to watch: the NAS to the highs and the Dow with the reversal move. This candle stays red, I will short this. But it doesn't. It stays green, and that's why you want to wait. You want to wait until you get a sign of weakness. I'm watching it down. It's hard to watch two things at once, so I'm trying to focus on the Dow here. Dow continues to hold bid, continues to print green, so we're going to let that go. Nasdaq doing nothing so far. I'm kind of tempted to just short Nasdaq right now. I'm a little bit late on this thing. All right, there's no real trade. I was fooling around. I was looking at Nasdaq shorting over here at the 09 level as a double top, but I was focusing on the Dow, so it's hard to do both. How much time do we have? 21 seconds. All right, I'm going to short the Dow. And I definitely want to give myself a little more room here, but I'm 4. If I get tagged out on this one, I'll just simply wait for the next failure candle and short that, because there's 2 things I can do here. I can give myself a 40 stop or a 20 stop and just give myself come back at a better price. And I think I just want to keep the stop tight, because there could be just one more burst, and there it is, one more burst to the upside. So we'll go bigger size on this and wait for the next red candle to short, because that I think is going to be a good entry for us to come in and short on. If this thing turns red, that's going to be even a better signal, because that would tell us that that we're flamed out right at the top. Okay, I'm selling this. Okay, hopefully this is the flame out right at the top. Let's give it a shot. And there we go. I'll take 10 on that. Okay, so we got back, and then some. I could have taken the whole thing, and on the reversal. And like I said, it's art as much of a science to try to pick these tops. This, in my opinion, will be good for 30-40 points to the downside. If you're patient enough, this thing will come all the way back down to fill the white space over here into the 40s. But if you're just trading for that very, very specific turn trade, that's what you want to do. You want to go for that 10 points. You want to do it in a very methodical way. So we got clipped on 20 on the first try, but on the second try, 3 times size, I made 10. So that's plus net 10 points basically. It's plus 10 points on this move. Because it was minus 20 plus 30 on the move. And now it's kind of likely going to a little bit consolidate. Dow is sort of very much like that. Nasdaq is in my opinion, a much better turn trade, because it tends to when it turns without much hesitation. I don't know if you guys went short the second time with me, but as I said, like now it's really starting to come in. If you came into the 60s, it's now it was like now in the 40s. Anybody short that with me? Yes. Ian, you can just say yes, Ian. You don't have to paint pictures for me, but that's nice. It's nice that you posted a pic. Good for you. All right, Nas, what is this bitch doing today? God, man, it's just doing nothing. Look at this, just sort of mid-range, driving everybody crazy. So Dow took out session highs, kind of playing around right now. Nas is still within range, still doing nothing. So, one of the interesting things, like when you watch, why I love this indicator, because it dynamically shows you the highs and the lows, you see how the higher the push in prices, like fresh highs become harder and harder. It's like climbing a mountain, harder and harder and harder. Prices have a harder time sustaining that momentum in the near term. Utterly unrelated. We don't trade anything but price action, Ian. We trade just the variables that we care about, which is the highs and the lows, our sell signals. We're very much internal to our world because we're scalping. We're in a 1 minute time frame. All we care about is market auction theory, market dynamics, what's going on. We are not trading anything that that is outside of that, because it doesn't matter for us. If we're trading on daily charts and trying to project market direction, yes, but we're trying to capitalize on very common behavioral patterns that happen over and over and over and over again, regardless of what the news is. So it's very ironic coming from me, who was such a big fundamental trader. Oh, let's play this NDX thing. Okay, I'm gonna kill I guess I'm gonna kill the lows, and let's do pending buy at, I think it's like 20. So this is 17, so it should be 27. Let's see if I have time. I don't know if this, we're gonna be 127. Okay, let's see if this works. All right, I'm putting a pending buy at 127.12. Let's see if this is going to take me into the trade. It's obviously trying to press session highs, and I want to go 5 on the first, 10 on the second. I'm trying to see if NAS is going to test the session, break the session highs here. And generally, when it does that, it tends to be a continuity trade. So let's see if the NAS does it for me versus the Dow. By the way, didn't I tell you that this is going to go into the 30s and 40s? There was literally like a 30-point profit from here to there if you just were patient enough to hold. All right, let's see if we break the highs. Okay, we're breaking the highs. We're in the trade. We got to see 5 points. How close am I? 2, 3, 4. Come on, get me out of here. 3. Jesus Christ, man! Look at the spreads. 3. Okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm taking the trade. I should have. If I'm trading futures, I would have been deep already. In profit. With this, it's just so, because I came in. How come this? I guess I was just impatient. I guess, what was I? Came in at 27. Oh no, I needed 32. It would have got me done. So anyways, it was +5. If I was patient enough, it could have given me more. But anyways, I took 5 out of the NASDAQ. That's all I got. Because I'm impatient. But let's watch the NASDAQ now, because NASDAQ now is developing fresh high scalp possibilities. So, if we get a red candle here, finally it's starting to move a little. Look at this, 36, 37. If I held on to this would have been a +15 trade. But as I always say, do as I say, not as I do. You're here to learn the setups. You guys all trade much better than I do. But I want to watch this, because if I get a red candle here, I actually might short the NASDAQ, because that would be a red candle off the highs. If I don't, I think I'd like to see maybe one more high push. NAS is a much better turn trade than Dow. Well, let's see, maybe we get this. Let's see if I get a play on this. Let's see where we're at. So it's 8, 9 seconds. Now it's still holding the greens. Okay, we're gonna leave it, let it be. Let it be here. And now I'm actually going to, like, if I get the next candle turns red, then yeah, maybe, because that looks like it was a spike high here for the time being. But if it pushes to fresh highs, then I'm going to wait and be patient for a little bit of a red sell-off. So you can see that, we're both positive and instantaneously negative on the trade, depending on just, how it's setting itself up. It looks like it's turning. Trying to see if I, I'm going to sell this, but only just, I probably got impulse. I got too impulsive on this, but I have to give it room here, because this could have been a corrective off the highs, and there could be a fresh highs before we get a secondary move. I always like to rush my my moves here because I want to be in trades, but this might require a 2-entry structure, because I just, I sold the bottom of this trade correction. It should have been coming in over here at 22. Still a little bit hard for me to get used to trading CFDs. But let's see if, I'll try to be patient here. If this comes down to, I need it to come down to all the way to what's my TP here? 22. So it's got to come down to like 10 or 12 on the futures. Wasn't a good entry. I just, technically I either should have taken this entry over here, then I would have had the 5, or just waited more patiently for it to get to the highs and then fail at the highs. So now I'm just, the key thing is I took a small position. If this fails for me, I will take a bigger position at the next failure signal. Making fresh highs, which means now I have to prepare myself for a secondary trade here, which I'm going to try and do. Now I'm kind of watching this. Because that would be like a failure at the double top. That would be a better entry if I get it, but I have to be patient enough to see how this candle closes. All right. I took second one here. So that one should be, let's see if I can get 5 on that. That's the better entry. So that should be coming in at 26 on the CFDs. Let's see if we can get that. That would be 16 on this. I guess so, yeah. All right, I'm going to take this one plus 3 on that one. Just let this one float for shits and giggles. Let's see where I'm at on that one. But the right entry, just trying to show you technique. The right entry was obviously over here. I was just got too excited on this down move. I should have waited patiently because I said like it's the second failure that is the better failure. So the right entry would have been here. If you did futures, it's 22 against 17. It was a full 5 on the futures. Now this is finally starting to come in for us on this basis. And it may push, for one more high here. At which point it's gonna give us yet another chance to short if it does push for another high, or it could finally cave in and flatten out to the downside. So, but a lot of the opposite side scalp is, as I said, just a matter of timing and technique. It's just finding that the right failure entry. Like on the Dow, it was super easy. When you have the candle that sets the highs that turns red, or the candle that sets the lows that turns green, that's a super high quality probability candle, because then you have the reversal happening. Here, we're playing around back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But it looks like they're going to try and bring this down to the 12s. So I'm finally positive on my other position. And I'll just take that for just a little bit off, just to clean myself up. It was not pretty, but this was worth, well, here it's finally worth probably 5-10 points, but it just took a long time to develop this. So it's actually, we had a good day. There was only one trade that we got tagged on. That trade we made back up in spades. We had the first trade on the open in the Dow highs that made us 30. That was a good run trade. The second trade made us 30. We lost 20 on the Dow, and NASDAQ was ugly, but I made about five points out of what I should have made about. And I also made 5 points to the upside on the NASDAQ. So that was like 10 points overall. 10 points out of possible 30, but still, better winning than losing. So any questions, guys? Hopefully you guys got a little bit of this. Anybody who traded this with me? Anybody trade the reversal on the NAS? Anybody take the NAS pips out? Where's Connie today? Where's my girl Connie? She's always taking my NAS trades. What'd you make on the NAS, David? Good for you. David took 15. Wow. So you had a great entry. Would you enter like in the? Would you take? Sorry, David. Are you trading futures or CFDs? Ah, you bastard. Okay. Yeah, I'm like this for the next 2 weeks. My hands are totally tied behind my back because I'm trading CFDs, which is like making me drive on the left side of the road. So that that's what part of the reason why I'm sucking. But it's actually good. I'm actually really glad I'm trading the CFD, because it's so much harder than when I go back to futures. When I come back with you guys in 2 weeks, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to just rip it up, because it's actually like a great. I never realized this, but it's like a great way to train for a better product. Just like if you want to trade well, trade on really shitty spreads, and if you can master that, then the tight spreads become really good. How come you couldn't get into this short, Ian? No margin. No margin. Jesus. Okay. This is going to be lesson number one with everybody who's in my. Oh, okay. It's in a demo account. Okay, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I want everybody to have good practices. If you're out margining yourself on a single trade, you are way out of control. Okay. All right. Famous last words, my friend. Famous last words. Your margin should never be more than 2 times your trading account size. That you heard me right. That means you shouldn't be trading more than 20,000 units, or 30. Let's say 5 times, 50,000 units maximum per trade on your account. If you want to stay in the game for long. All right. Anyways, guys. Hope you guys had a good day. Who else took the trades with me? Karen did 5. Good job. Al, did you trade the NASDAQ short? Who else is in the room here? Kelvin? Oh, is Jonathan here? Where's Jonathan? Jonathan's been kind of quiet. Oh, he's not here today. Okay. Good. All right. Anyways, and now we go back up to highs. Now we make fresh highs. By the way, so let's, you guys want to play? Let's, we got, a couple minutes. Let's play this. So we have fresh highs NAS. Let's play this one more time. So, where's my thing? Let's watch this because obviously, so NAS making fresh highs. Let's see if we can find another reversal candle here in the next candle or two. Because I think that'd be a pretty decent short. It may even be this candle if it reverses off the highs. Jesus, wow, really reversing off the highs. Whoa, okay. All right, let's short this. Just a little bit off this, short this for just 5 points. Let's see if it's my final trade. Could be my damn trade, but this was a reversal off the highs. This is the kind of trade I really like to see. Let me see if I can get, 5 points on this. 274. It's really going to tease me here, huh? 329. All right, I'm going to make 4. I should have made 4. I'm going to make 4 on the spread. Let's see if I can get 4 out of this thing. Whoa, look at this. Look at God, man, this thing just totally oscillates, man. I don't know how they're updating this. The CFD is so out of whack relative to the feuds. Okay, come on down to me, please. 20, I need to see like 19. I'm not getting it. I missed my opportunity because it was just like, again, the spreads on this thing just wouldn't let me do it, but that's all right. We'll just have to be patient here. So I'm trying to be patient, trying to see if, if this candle turns red and it's relatively higher than the prior candle, then I'll add to the position. If it's the same price, I'll just kind of let it go. because I just want to observe this. It's pretty much the same price. It's not much of a difference. I mean, it's, we're clearly trying to set a little bit of a top here, but the reason why I don't want to press my luck is it's totally possible this thing could burst through the highs for one final fresh high before it corrects. And, I'm at small size. I'll come back. I'll do larger size and get it back. But I'll try to be patient here and just see if I could, if this thing doesn't, it needs to complete to around like 15 on the future side to give me, the P&L that I want. Oh, God, what a useless thing. Okay, gave me 4. It finally gave me 4 on CFDs because I had to, trade spread, and then finally came in. So good. At least that puts us to plus 15 on the NASDAQ CFD and plus 30 on the Now. And now it starts to to come back up. And we can study. We can watch this pretty carefully for for more possibilities. If it breaks the fresh highs, fails, it'll be fine. At this point, I wouldn't be chasing the reversal candle just because it's just consolidating. What you can see from the price action here is we're just consolidating. It looks to me like there's actually a stronger push for possibly fresh highs still. So not enough to make me want to short this at this level just yet. It continues to just chop, but we could have a break to further highs, although it's clear that it seems to be running out of gas. So is the Dow. The Dow is running out of gas here too. But again, I need to be watching this because remember we usually around 10 o'clock. So this is the first, session highs made. This is sort of like the first move of the bulls. Now the question is, what do they want to do for the rest of the day? Is there going to be more buying pressure? If there's no more buying pressure, this is going to really start to drift out, and that's pretty much the high of the day. And you could, if you're positional, you could short against it. And this thing finally comes in to come in to the downside. But you can, the key thing that you really see is you can totally see how the struggle around the highs, around the lows, sometimes it takes longer than you think. So in this case, it took about 5-10 minutes. It tends to resolve in the direction that you want it to resolve. Since this was a candle high failure, it really did resolve here. So this kind of ended at 20, and the low here was almost plus 10, like 12. It was a tough trade here, but it did eventually go your way. I don't know if anybody traded this last turn, but you had a chance here. So okay, that was pretty good, guys. We did a lot of. I forgot. Let me see how many trades I did. Oh, Jesus, how many trades did I do today? Let me see. Since we started, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jesus, 12 trades. We did 12 trades. Good job. 12 trades, only 1 loser. So that's pretty good. Okay. Any questions, guys? Everybody have fun? Should we do this tomorrow? Or should I just take a day off? Oh, damn. We have NFP. Usually we are oh, guys. Oh, wow. I totally forgot the NFP. Usually I'm always doing trading battle. This is like the first time I'm not doing trading battle. You know what? I got to talk to Kay. Maybe she wants to trade NFPs. I don't know what she wants to do. She usually hates to live trade, so she probably is just going to leave it to me. But if we do NFPs, yeah, I mean, we should really do NFPs tomorrow. I'm so unused to just doing NFPs in Zoom because I'm always in Trading Battle on that. Okay, I'll let you guys know. I totally forgot about that. Everybody have a good day. Karen, you have a good day today? Grassy, all good? Oh, what'd you give back? Ah, because you're cheating on me. You're trading your own ideas. You're scalping your own ideas. You need Connie in the room here to keep you honest. All right, everybody have a wonderful day. Everybody have a great day. I'll see everybody tomorrow. One way or the other, we're gonna, I'll let you know what we're gonna do for the NFPs. But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. We'll play that game as well. It'll be really great actually with the highs and lows on the NFPs because it's really going to give us some great visibility on how the whole thing trades. Okay, guys, everybody enjoy. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Take care.